in today's video, we're going to be talking about the brand new release of Godzilla Vs Kong, man. I just watched this movie and it was absolutely epic. But look, before we get into that, I want to make sure that everybody likes, subscribes, and go ahead and tap that notification bell one time for your boy. I just want to make sure that my plan of infiltrating your timeline goes smoothly. All right, now, without further ado, let's jump into this Godzilla Vs Kong review. Alright guys, before I start talking about this movie and how exciting it was, I want to give a little bit of history to those watchers who may not know anything about Kong or Godzilla or this monster universe. There are 3 previous movies in this monster verse, okay? We got Godzilla. It was a standalone film. It did pretty good in 2014. And then 2 years later, we got the Kong Skull Island movie. That came out in 2017, man. I don't know if you guys got to see this movie, but I literally get to ride in this movie at Universal Studios on a weekly basis, man. I do have annual passes, being that I live in Orlando, and I absolutely ride this ride as much as I can. It's one of the best rides out there. And then in 2019, we had the Godzilla Rise of the Monsters movie starring Millie Bobby Brown. And if that name sounds familiar, no, it's not Whitney Houston's husband. It's actually the girl from Stranger Things, all right, 11. And just for the sake of not having to jumble up her name, because I've done it in many edits, we're just gonna call her 11. The director of this movie really did his thing. I mean, visually, it was so aesthetically pleasing. All of the battle scenes, all of the dialogue, all of the moments that we get to see Kong kind of coming up from something or bending down from somewhere, it was really beautiful. Adam Wingard really did his thing on this movie, and if you don't know anything that he's done in the past, he has directed Death Note, and he is actually a graduate of Full Sail University. I actually attended Full Sail University, but the tuition was so high, I couldn't continue to chop off my arm to pay for my books, so I actually had to continue doing full-time work. But I'm gonna be doing a reveal video about my life later, and I'm gonna talk a lot about these things, and I'm gonna fill y'all in on my life, don't worry. But this director really did his thing, man. All of the battle scenes, when they were looking at Kong, when Kong came on screen, pause, it was really good, man. Pause. All right, enough of that. They said that because Kong was in this containment unit, that he just grew. Maybe he was a baby in the other movies, and he just towered up to be this slightly larger beast than we remember, all right? I was reading a lot about the fact that he is larger than he was, but I like that in the beginning, they just told you what it was. We don't even have to worry. Cool. Thanks for explaining that, Cap. What I didn't enjoy was the way that they kind of made everything so convoluted. And what I mean by that is, like, everybody had their hand in this story. Like, Millie Bobby Brown, aka 11, she had her own kind of timeline, and so did Godzilla, and so did this other person. Like, everybody just had everything. The guy that opened the door for the old lady at the grocery store, if he wouldn't have did that, nothing would have been accomplished. That's the kind of vibe that I got, and I wish that they would have kind of concentrated more on Godzilla fighting Kong, or, you know, just the dynamic of the two, because ultimately those battle scenes between the both of them were insane. Man, the camera angles, again, the way that they would put the camera inside the jet, and when the jet takes off, it's showing you like Kong, you know, kind of going for the jet. It was really immenseful, the way that they put you into the film. I mean, all of the different angles, when he was underwater, from them aquatic battling, and Kong couldn't even catch his breath because obviously he don't breathe underwater. He's an ape. He's a gigantic gorilla. He can't, you know, grow gills in a second, but Godzilla's pulling him down, and the way that they were just fighting, it was totally awesome. I wish I had more moments like that in this film, but because there was so many other, like, interfering things, you know, and different timelines, it just got kind of messy at times, you know. There's some guy where his brother died, apparently, going underground because there's a sub-world where all of these monsters and these beings came from, which is cool, and I appreciate that, but I just felt it was so forced. And how lucky we find out, you know, where they go and the power source and all this stuff. And Godzilla was really bad, man. Like, he was an ass whipper. He was putting the beats on King Kong the whole time, man. And Kong did have his moments, and he was kind of coming back, but something about Kong makes me feel like he's a teenager, or he's like a baby, that he doesn't really know how to be so beastly yet, but he's learning, okay? And Godzilla is on this tirade in this movie for a reason that I really didn't appreciate, maybe it's something in the mangas or in the comics that I don't know about this movie, but when they introduce Mecha Godzilla, who is this big centennial metal, bad guy who is gonna fight Godzilla, it just seemed like Godzilla knew they were making him, and that's why he was acting out. And I was just thinking to myself, how does Godzilla know that they're creating some sort of monster to the point where he feels offended? Like, I know that Godzilla has to have some sort of motive, and I was hoping that maybe that conglomerate, that technology company, I thought that maybe they were making some sort of bomb or something that was letting off some sort of radiation that he could sense. No. He just knew that they were creating this monster and he had to destroy it. And that's why they had to get Kong. But really, the other scientist guy, who I said lost his brother, wants to find this world and needs Kong. But the little girl, she knows Kong. And then the lady, she gave Kong a bath. Like, it just keeps going on and on. And I really wanted them to just kind of focus on the two, but they didn't. But the time that we did get between our two anti-heroes, or our hero and our anti-hero, it was a lot, man. Like I assumed and like I predicted in my trailer review, they had to fight a bigger villain, and ultimately once they did that, they kind of just looked at each other like, see it in the prequel. Like, when we find out where we all come from, they just do so much in these movies, and I feel that they need to kind of dumb it down and not try to be so intricate, because like I said, the plot and the storyline can easily be convoluted, and you can lose interest just because everybody's doing so many things, you know what I'm saying? There was a moment when the two are fighting, Godzilla and Kong, and Godzilla's got his foot on Kong's chest, and he's just kind of like, say uncle, and Kong is like, uncle, get off me. It was so funny, man. I had a good time with this movie, which is a really good thing. Lots of explosions, action sequences. It was really interesting for the most part, but there was things that could have been better. But that's what movies are nowadays, right? They're great items, but they could have been better, man. What did you guys think? Have you seen this movie? Did you hate it? Did you love it? I liked it, actually, man. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Now, I know that's not as high as you might have expected, but as much as I enjoyed the movie, I had a lot of gripes about the movie, and overall, it just wasn't what I was hoping that it was gonna be. Even though I'm taking it with a grain of salt, it was still kick-ass, man. A 7 is a strong number. That's like a good C in my book. But hey, until next time, man, what did you guys think of this movie review? Like, subscribe, share, show a friend, man. I'm so happy that we have surpassed 200 subscribers, man. I really want to thank you guys. We're on a treadmill up, and there's no way we're turning back now, all right? I can't wait to talk to you guys on Friday with my Falcon and Winter Soldier review. That's going to be off the charts, man. And until next time, it's been a pleasure, but I'm out.